Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And joining us for this week's episodes is Ant.
Special guest, special surprise, Ant.
Special guest, surprise Ant, who just creepily came over to the window and was like, hey, y'all recording a podcast in there?
And Zach and I are like, who or why is this person here?
Well, for the first second, because we were just listening to the other, like the D&D thing you recorded.
Yes.
MHGG.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, for a second, I was like, wait, is that still going on? And I was like, because that sounds weird, but it doesn't sound like any of our voices.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know if anyone was behind me. And then I was like, okay.
Yeah. Before we get too far into this episode, though, important to say that this episode is, as Wednesday episodes have been for a little while now, sponsored by Gray Fox Games, our awesome, very supportive sponsors.
Indeed.
This is also episode 101. So podcast 101, which means that we are going to teach everyone how to podcast. That's what this episode is. This is entry-level podcasting.
It's a textbook example of what not to do. Just
learn through failure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was, we'd meant to have Ant on because the review episode, Imperial Assault, Ant's been running the campaign, and so he's got a lot of experience with it, so we thought he'd be a good voice. And not only myself, but Jeff both talked to Ant at different times about being on the episode, and then both promptly forgot about it today.
Ant had asked when we were podcasting, and I was like, 6 like usual.
I asked you 3 hours ago.
I was just like, yeah, I don't know why you're asking in my head.
And yesterday, as we were playing Imperial Assault, Paul asked if he should be on the podcast, or if I should, and Adrian's like, well, I don't think both of you should be, and it makes more sense for Ant to be on.
yes.
And Adrian had zero conversation with Zach or I about any of this, but that's fine. I like Ant.
And Jeff is also the one that came up to me and said, hey, by the way, we're doing an Imperial Assault episode.
I didn't know if you knew. That's how little I knew. If you even knew we were reviewing this game.
Right.
But I did remember the text where you were trying to play games this last weekend to get to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So I'm awkwardly here.
Yes.
We're happy to have you here.
Indeed.
Long time regular guest on the show.
Especially because you played Blood Bowl this week and I didn't.
Yeah, you being here means that there will be a bloody minute.
Yep.
Which will
Get
also
to later.
probably involve some sad defeats.
Maybe.
But yeah. So what's everybody been up to? You haven't been on in a little while, so let's start with you. Last time you were on was the contentious Rising Sun episode.
Where I was right and you were wrong.
There
correct,
are differing opinions about things.
Yeah.
And yours are neither right nor wrong.
You can have a wrong opinion.
That's true.
It's still your opinion. You can have it. It's just wrong.
Anyway, what have you been up to, Ant?
So besides watching a exuberant amount of movies,
How many are you up to now?
202 for the year 2018.
Yeah. And we saw a cracker one this past Sunday.
Movies.
Yeah, that was a real bad movie.
Oh yeah, Jurassic World 2 is super shitty.
Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
I was out of town, so I was not in on the group that went and saw this movie.
You saved money.
All right.
I'm unsure who hated it the most out of all of us, though.
It seemed like everyone was very anti Jurassic World 2.
I was just disappointed. I was just like, I was a little mad, but really I'm just more disappointed. Because I still enjoyed, I was like, there's things I've enjoyed in World. There's even as much as I hate Jurassic Park 3, there's still things I can enjoy in that.
I hardly remember any of the
The
premise of that
dinosaur
movie.
ate the cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just remember that. Remember, if anything, the dinosaur ate the cell phone.
Yes.
That started the trend of multi-ton creatures still being able to sneak up behind people. But
to be fair, it happened in the first movie.
No.
Right, yeah.
That T-Rex came out of off-frame completely silently and ate the shit out of that raptor.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's how every movie has been since then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't really remember Jurassic 3, but
yeah.
I love Jurassic Park, obviously. And then I actually enjoy Lost World for what it is.
Yes.
But you continue with what your thoughts on it.
This one just didn't feel like a Jurassic Park movie to me. It didn't have any of the...
There was no park.
There was several throwbacks to make you feel like you remembered Jurassic Park.
Just like those references of, hey, look look at this. Remember this?
This was in one of those movies you liked.
It wasn't trying to evoke the wonder that you felt back then. It was just, hey, remember how the T-Rex had that pose? Here he is in that pose again.
That's how I describe Jurassic World. I call it the BP episode logic because there was the South Park episode where BP did the oil spill.
And
then
Unleashed Cthulhu.
And then there's multiple commercials where like, we're sorry. Sorry. We're sorry.
It was on the bearskin rug.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Sorry. I feel like a lot of movies kind of do that where they had a really good one and then they fucked it up a couple times. So they bring you back to like, ignore the other ones. We're going to like kind of make you remember the first one. So Jurassic World had all those like, well, we fucked up the other two movies, but here's a lot of things that make you think about the one you liked.
Right.
Sorry.
Fan service.
Yeah. I think my biggest problem is the thing I hated the most about the last movie. They were like, the screenwriter was like, let's double down on that. Let's make that be pretty much the entire plot. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw Jurassic World until it came out on Blu-ray.
Okay.
So that was also a smart decision. I hated Jurassic World.
He did, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was able to find some things I enjoyed. Even really stupid things like the final fight at the end. I still enjoyed it for how stupid it was.
As Ant vigorously
That's
shakes his
fine.
head.
Hey,
No.
I guarantee I've seen that movie more than you guys combined.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No,
So-
I know you hating a movie does not stop you from
From watching the
it.
shit out of it. They,
How many
like,
times have you seen
Ender
Ender?
Hashtag just kidding. I spite watched that movie 14 times now.
Do you just like yell at the TV the entire time?
He's just got a bottle of whiskey.
I'm very verbal when I watch some movies.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But then again, I've seen many other movies more times than that. So
Yeah.
Yes.
And the thing that stuck out to me the most is that there was like a fairly emotional, quote unquote, emotional moment in the movie. And
And we're talking about Jurassic World 2.
Jurassic World 2.
Yeah.
It happened. Everybody to the left of me unanimously started laughing. All five of
the best
people.
part is I don't know which one
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Oh, I definitely do. It was the
hold
she's
up the
gonna be
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
I felt like that was she just did it and then she's like, I'm a doctor now.
Finally seen my first dinosaur.
That was how I described it to the people that I've talked to today about it.
Yeah.
Is I brought up that one scene. I'm like, it's not going to spoil anything. They just pull the bullet out and she just looks up into the air and says, she's going to be okay. The hemorrhaging doesn't matter.
No.
Internal bleeding, fuck it.
She's a dinosaur. It's okay.
You got
Bullet's out.
the bullet
Yeah.
is out.
The wound is still just like open.
She
Yeah.
hasn't even stitched anything. No bandages. Nothing.
That's TV
Mm-hmm.
doctoring right there.
Yeah.
The bullet's out. You are completely cured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a movie just full of those. My favorite part about the entire movie was the 20 minutes we spent after the movie just ripping it to shreds.
Yes. At the very least, it's good that Jeff isn't here because then Jeff didn't see it there.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm pretty sure I'm still here, though.
I know. That's why I changed.
Oh, am I?
Because we would be ripping into very specific things, and also I feel like we could do this for another hour, so we should.
Oh
Probably,
yes, yeah. No, I was going to let you finish your statement and be all right. It's time to move on from ripping on Jurassic World.
I just mentioned movies and you guys fucking went off the rails.
Yeah,
I was
sorry.
going to say board games and all this other shit.
Yeah. So sorry, Ant.
No, I'm real fired up. It's fire time.
Fire.
So Ant. So moving on from ripping on Jurassic World, what else have you been up to?
Played a couple board games. That was fun. We played some Imperial Assault, played some Blood Bowl. Recently played on Sunday after watching the movie. We played 6-player The Mind because we wanted to see how that would work, and it worked okay. It was fine.
Did you just go to 6 rounds or 4 rounds?
We played it until we made it.
Okay.
We were trying to figure out
Until we made it.
well, we were trying to figure out what level, how many levels to go through, and we're like, we don't even know how to base that, so let's just see how many levels we can go through.
Okay.
And I think we got to 7, and there was a couple really dumb mess ups that just shouldn't happen because we just stopped paying attention. I don't really feel like a 4-player limit is super necessary, but whatever. I mean,
Right. Well, I know with 4 players, it is what, 8 is the lowest one.
Yes.
So that's 32. So I would guess with 6 players, getting around 6 rounds or something like that.
we made it through 6, no problem.
Yeah.
I just think that it was worth it. So we played that. We played Catacombs.
Yes.
Catacombs.
You got it right this time.
Yeah. I keep saying it's Cataclysm.
Yeah.
What's Catacombs? I don't think I know that one.
So it's a dexterity puck flicker where you're playing basically D&D with dexterity pucks.
Okay.
And you have a board, and the enemies are just different pucks, and you're kind of just flicking them at each other to attack. So it's kind of flick 'em up, but with D&D. It was enjoyable. I rather play flick 'em up. The missions themselves weren't very exciting, but it was different and it was enjoyable, and it was pretty straightforward, and I liked that one. Played some pirate billiards, which is always a rousing game.
Yeah, I do like pirate billiards.
Have you gotten better at it during the game? Because
holy smokes! So the first game we played, like I was just fucking sniping. Like we were going from first row to 2 away from the end.
Oh wow!
Just like right off the bat, it was a really intense game. And then the second game I played is like I'm only doing full court throws, and all of them got like to the last square, but on the person's to my right starting spot.
Oh no!
So it just like straight off the board, but It was all the way at the last square. So I was trying to go for it and it didn't work out, and I got 0. So.
Just gonna get that 2+.
Yeah, that's what it was. A 2+ he needed.
Yep.
Maybe with a 6+ dodge on the go for it.
And then the only other thing I played recently was we played some Power Grid, which I would love to play some more Power Grid if you guys are down. I still have a lot of maps to play with.
I love Power Grid.
But we played the Russia map, and I forgot what made it different, except for the fact that
it was a lot to do with the resource values or something, wasn't it?
So when you started, garbage was not an available resource.
That's what it was.
And nuclear was a higher starting resource, and then there was certain ones you took out. So it made nuclear power really good early. But I was playing with Julie and Tom Photos.
Okay.
And both of them still overbuy power stations. So it was kind of another one of those, they're spending all their money outbidding each other, and then I'm just waiting for the right resource stations. And it was actually relatively close at the end of it. I liked the distribution of the connection costs. It was pretty good. But there's other maps that I would like to be playing, and I feel like you guys haven't really played a lot of variety of maps. I would love to play some more Power Grid.
That's very true.
Yeah, I think I've only played 3. Like, I've definitely played the base map several times. I've played US, I think, once, and then we played, I think, Japan once.
Japan's cool.
I think I've only done the Germany and US.
US kind of sucks because it's way too spread out and the connection costs just suck. It's just not super balanced. But I mean, I feel like I have 24 maps, so
you can find a good one.
That's a lot of maps.
Yeah.
I don't think I played anything else cool recently.
Have you found any maps that like change it dramatically, or is it little tweaks
so like the
that?
Korea map is really good, the North and South Korea one, because you're bidding on one market or the other.
Okay.
The North Ireland one, maybe it's not North Ireland, it's like Northern, like UK or whatever, and
Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the regions you can't buy nuclear if you're in that region.
Oh, okay.
And then
I know the Belgium, Luxembourg, Netherlands one is apparently pretty good.
There's like an acronym for the Beluxen, something like that.
Yeah, it's you're taking parts of all the different names because I guess they all have a partnership for power in that area.
Okay,
and they all share like
that one's good at low player counts.
Yeah, maybe that's what maybe that's why it's one,
quick. Yeah. So all the connection costs are super cheap.
That's what it was.
So I like that one too. I just don't play enough to memorize why I like the maps. When I look at them, I'm like, oh yeah, this is because of this. But
got a lot of maps.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's all I've played really recently. I mean, I haven't been on here for a long time, so there's a lot of things I've played since the last time.
A lot of Imperial Assault, though.
Yeah, and Factorio. If anyone listens to this podcast that plays Factorio, hit me up.
Yeah. Or Don't Starve.
Or Don't Starve together, yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Zach, what about you? What have you been up to?
This past Wednesday, Bullshit Paul brought his copy of The Island of El Dorado, right? Is that what it's called? Okay.
Correct.
Which is basically a game about like you're exploring this island and you're trying to find these different shrines and then put like your what were they called? Offerings? Put the offerings?
Yeah, you put offerings at the shrines.
You put because there are 3 shrines you want to put
temples or something like that.
Yeah, and then you want to put an offering on all of them, and then there's also like because there's also a cave part, and there is I never. I don't remember exactly what it's called, just because that's what ended the game. But there's like a cave shrine that you can just take and just bring it with you.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a dice-based game where you have. Well, we didn't play the normal way. We played the less luck variant or whatever it was. But the normal one is you roll 2 dice and you choose one to be how many resources you get, and the other one is how much movement you have. And your movement is your explorer.
Yeah, just for your explorer.
Just your explorer. And if you can move around, because it starts like you just start on one tile and then you move to another tile. You attempt to move to a tile and you basically grab it from the pile. You put it there, and then if it's water, you're like, oh, you found water. You can't go there because there's just water there.
Okay.
And so you're just trying to explore the region, and then you can get at the beginning of each turn you can gather resources, and that's either from your explorer or if you have what were they called?
Villager/armies, depending on what context they were used in.
That if they were next to farmhouses, then you could get resources from them instead, and you use those resources to build more people, to build more farmhouses, and to build a fort,
and potentially to move your armies.
And you have to spend a gold to move your armies, which they basically help for your combat, because when you fight, if you end up fighting somebody, you just roll that your combined strength, which is your explorer, and then armies, and then if you have a fort nearby, and then against your opponent, and then you're rolling basically betrayal dice, because two zeros, 2 1s, and 2 2s, and whoever wins, get like they do they get something? I don't know. No,
not really. Well, if you defeat somebody's explorer,
okay, and we never did.
It happened once.
One happened once,
and then if your explorer is defeated, you choose half of your cards rounded down to give to the other player. So
gotcha.
I suppose that could have been a strategy that we didn't really think of. Like you and I could have been attacking Paul when he had that fist full of cards.
Well, he was just so goddamn far away.
Yes.
Looks interesting.
It looks.
Yeah, it's the deluxe edition, right?
Okay.
The components are really good.
Yeah, components are great. Artwork's great.
It just
and it's brand new.
Yeah,
right?
it's brand new. It just came out. But I got bored of it super fast.
Me, that game is so boring. That game would be great if it took like 30 to 45 minutes instead of an hour and a half.
Yeah, it took us 90 minutes to do.
Yeah, it shows like 25 to 80 minutes.
Yeah. I think for me, I might have liked it more if I was doing the regular. So the less luck dependent one is you roll a die, and so say a 5 comes up, then you basically take that 5 and you take the opposite side, so 2, and you choose one of those for your movement and one of those for your for your resources. So it always adds up to 7. So it's more consistent. But then it just got really samey for me, at least.
Yeah, and like that's supposed to. They said for people who want less randomness in the game.
Yeah.
But really, the dice rolls weren't the randomness that bothered me. It was like the way the tiles came out so randomly, to where Paul made a super long trench off into the distance and ended up with 2 of the temples over there.
2 shrines and 2 of the gardens, which you can just get. You can harvest anything from.
Yeah.
What do the temples do?
You make your explorer 1 stronger for each one you have, and then they're the end game trigger. Once somebody controls all 4 temples, they win.
Well, if you've put an offering on all 3 of those temples, and then you control the cave one, you win.
Gotcha.
And so, but once you put an offering on there, which is the main thing you use those resources for, it gets +1 strength to your explorer, but then it just stays there. Nobody can remove it or anything like that.
Did you build those, or were they?
We find them.
All right,
and then we have to build the offering is the thing where we actually give the resources.
Yeah, you go spend 2 of every resource.
Yeah,
basically.
But that's where you respawned when you lost a battle, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, because that's what I got out of that. Because I walked over a couple times, and the only thing that I enjoyed was the fact that every once in a while I heard you guys fighting, and I ran over to watch the die rolls, and it wasn't that exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
No.
Which basically sums up the game. It wasn't that exciting.
Yes. What's funny is that after you're done, Paul was like, "So Adrian, what did you think?" Because he was like a little apprehensive about you playing it, and he started saying those, the problems you had with it. And then I was just like, I sat there, and he was like, "Well, what did you think?" And I was like, I agree with Adrian, man. That thing.
Yeah, because I finished it up. I was like, in the end, just meh. I'm so meh on this game.
Yeah.
And Zach goes, "Yeah, I agree with Adrian." Meh.
Yeah.
It's not I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just boring.
Yeah. Well, especially
which I guess you could argue is bad if the point of a board game is to have fun.
It's not exciting.
Yeah.
It was boring to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even the combats, I was like, cool. You rolled a 3 and he rolled a 4.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Yep. He moves away. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I did like that you could, because if you fight an army, and you beat them, the army like goes away. But you can also the person can just pay a gold and just move the army away. So you're like, I'm gonna fight all your shit, and they're like, nope, I'm paying gold. You just run away, so you just don't do anything there. And you're like, okay,
great.
Yeah,
there are little things I liked on it, but overall, it also the powers were weird. Like Paul's was so Paul's ability was anytime he rolled a 3 or a 5, he could steal a resource from us, one of us. And with the less luck variant, if he rolled a 2, 3, 4, or 5, he would be able to steal from someone. So it was he was consistently taking something from us.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which works really well for him.
Mine was just one strength, but it just meant that my explorer could just do shit on his own and not really have to worry about it. And then Adrian's was like 1 free army movement and something else too.
No, that was it for that one.
Okay, but yeah, it just felt lackluster, and it was like, oh, these things look pretty, but the game was just very
meh.
Yeah,
exactly. I did introduce you and Paul and 2 other people at game night to Welcome To.
Yes, you did.
A couple people saw it in my bag, and they brought it over like towards the end of El Dorado, and we're like, hey, like, is this your game? And I was like, yeah, it's mine. And they're like, oh, I saw this was number 1 on BGG. I wanted to play it.
And we did have to correct him because he was just like,
you mean number 1 on the hotness?
Well, we corrected him after because I thought he meant the hotness, and he was like, he played it. He was like, I really liked this. I don't think it's the best game ever, though. And we're like, no, that just is number 1 hotness. So a lot of people are talking about it. He's like, oh, okay.
That makes way more sense.
We didn't play Gloomhaven.
No, we did not.
But we played it, and like we were like 3 rounds in, and Paul was immediately like, all right, how do I get this?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you can pre-order it at welcometogame.com, and you can choose Gen Con pickup. And he was like, done and done.
Yeah.
Not the first time Paul's bought a game at the table before.
And it will not be the last.
No, not by a long shot. Oh, no, I did play one other game.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say,
it's too late now. You only said you played one thing.
I was going to say for that one, though, I did I've played some roll and writes, and I've enjoyed them, but I never felt that engaged when I was playing. But this one, I felt an engagement and an investment in the decision making that as it got farther, you're like, oh god, everything, oh god. Because you can't choose the same number again. Basically, once you're in your
I'm looking forward to playing it because I have never played a roll and write.
Okay, but this one, it's like when you take a 7, like say you choose a 7, and it's you said it was on bell curve, right?
Yes.
So there's a decent amount of 6, 7s, and 8s.
Is it dice or
no, it's cards.
Cards.
It's a big deck of cards. So it's not a roll and write. It's a flip and fill is the funny little term they were calling it.
But as you take, say you take 6s and 8s on all 3 of your little rows, now anytime a 6 and 8 comes up, 6, 7, or 8, you're like, I can't take that. I can't. So your decisions start getting more and more constrained, which I like that in a game when you have that conundrum. You're like, if I take this, great, but it'll hurt me later if I take this now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did definitely enjoy that, and I won too.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was the only person to get 100 or over. So
impressive.
Yeah.
No, it went really well. The other game that I did play that I just remembered while we were talking about this, because I was reminded by Paul buying games randomly in the middle of things. Actually, I played 2 games because I played 2 games at Paul's house.
I just want to interrupt with one last thing.
Okay.
About when me and Paul were talking about the game the entire time, and he was just like, "Oh no, man, this," like he was just like he in that thing. He was like, "Oh man, no, this is the strategy to do. You do this, and you're gonna win." And then he did that strategy, and I was like, no, I think there's other ways to do it. And I did my own shit that I was doing. And then I beat him by 3 points. And it was like, yeah, fuck you, Paul.
But over at Paul's house on Saturday, I played a quick game of Saturn, which is the little dexterity balancing game where you're putting 3 different sized balls on 3 different rings of Saturn and trying to balance them. Not a lot to say about that game. It's a fun little dexterity game. It's nearly impossible to find, so I'm not going to really hype it up. But Paul found a copy and bought it. Shocker.
A bullshit dexterity game? What?
Yeah. Hard to find bullshit dexterity game.
Yep.
Is there wood?
It is so much wood.
Okay.
And so he bought that.
That's what got Paul interested.
Right.
Yes.
Paul's really into the wood. So we played that. I won. It was awesome. That was me, Paul, and Wes. And then another friend of ours, Leander, showed up right at the end of that game, and the 4 of us played and learned Great Zimbabwe. So I finally got a chance to do a full game of Great Zimbabwe. I do really like it. It reminded me a lot of my play of Founders of Gloomhaven. Just some of the way you have increasing resource production, like craftsmen that use each tier down, and so you have to trace from the higher tier craftsmen to the mid tier to the low tier to the resource
and stuff like that.
Yeah. I also really like in that game that the different cards you take as you take like power specialist cards or things that you can use or god powers or whatever, they increase your victory point requirement to win. So like everybody starts off with a requirement of 20, but you could easily, in my case, I ended up where my requirement to win was like 38. Whereas Wes's, I think, was down at like 28. So I needed 10 whole points more than Wes to win. Ultimately, Paul, Wes, and I all three hit our victory requirements. And then, but Wes exceeded his victory requirement by more, which let him actually win the game.
Right.
Paul got second, and then I was very narrowly in third, which after about like the third round, Paul had mentioned, he's like, okay, he's like, I'm pretty sure my strategy is going to be a second place strategy on this one. And he was right. It was. So Wes said he liked it more than or equal to Food Chain. He thinks ultimately he'd probably enjoy it more than Food Chain. I really liked it. It definitely, for me, entirely different feel than Food Chain. It's one of the things I like about Splatter games. I really like all of them. I think they're really tight mechanically for the kind of games I like. But so far, the 4 I've played have all been vastly different types of games, which I dig. So that's what I've been playing. Jeff, how about you? Bring us home. What have you been up to?
I've been gone. I've been in Chicago since Wednesday. Just got back yesterday and went for a big hootenanny with a bunch of friends back home. Got a huge 6-bedroom, 6-bath house, giant basement with a theater. It was nuts. Lots of Jack Daniels and too much Malort. Malort is terrible. It is.
It's the product of a gypsy curse.
Yeah.
Right?
Have you had Malort?
Yeah, I've had it. It is not good.
It's like burnt hair and regret in a bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have avoided Malort because I've never heard a positive thing about it.
It tastes like getting bullied in the 5th grade.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really bad. Ant's sick to his stomach just thinking about it over there.
It is not the sweetest Swedish liquor.
Liqueur.
Did you bring back some for Paul?
I did not bring back any for Paul. You're welcome, everyone.
I remember we had Richard try that, and he didn't know what it was. We're just like, Richard, try this.
Do it.
Oh, poor Richard.
I mean, Richard's always up for trying anything once. So like, Richard, do you want to try this? He's like, sure. Like, he seemed super psyched, and then he had it.
He seemed super psyched.
Yeah.
So we did introduce a lot of out-of-town people to Malort.
Now they know to avoid it.
Yeah. Somehow we went through both bottles.
It didn't take just one shot.
There was 21 of us.
Oh, okay.
And so we were just hanging out, drinking and stuff like that. But there was a lot of board game playing there and game playing in general. XCOM was a really big hit. At least 4 games of XCOM were played throughout the weekend. I think they were mostly playing on easy though, because at no time I think they won all 4 games, and they won them all pretty handedly. Because I was like, man, you guys have a lot of research. Like, I think they were doing pretty well. Played another game called Scrawl, which is a Telestrations-esque game. And I might like it more than Telestrations. Played a lot of Telestrations at the game night. It's sort of like a draw and pass sort of game. You start with words or start with a picture, and you have to try and guess what that is. This one is a little different to where you go through all your drawings and everything, and then you actually score one of them, and whoever's it was gets a point, and so you actually get points at the end of the round. But otherwise, very similar. Everything is exactly the same.
I mean, technically, Telestrations does have a point system, but we all say fuck it.
Yeah.
Maybe would you say it's like Telestrations meets Dixit?
No.
I mean, there's a scoring system and everyone votes, so.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, that's what I meant. It's not like you're trying to guess which one.
Yeah, what do I feel about this picture? That is a very large dick. Yeah. There's a lot of very good artists in our group of friends.
It's a veiny group. God.
It's a veiny...
The blood roast dick.
Haunting.
Played a lot of Secret Hitler. Someone brought Twilight Struggle. Didn't get broken out during the hootenanny, unfortunately. In the theater, we hooked up a PS4. Played a lot of the Jackbox games. We did like the T-shirt game. It was quite the event. Someone ended up buying a T-shirt that we actually did. One of the most fun things I did there, though, was actually on the PS4 in the projector. We played Crawl. Mm-hmm. It's a 4-player, like 3v1, like dungeon crawler where you all pick gods that have different monsters associated with them, and then you're going through randomly generated rooms as like a human, but they're all possessing different items in the room to try and kill the person or spawning their monsters. And then you get gold and experience and try and level up and kill a big monster at the end that all the ghosts can like control different parts of to try and kill the human before they can kill the end boss. But anytime a ghost kills the human, they become the human. So it's all like a race to try and get to the end to escape the dungeon. That was a lot of fun. Won that one by like just tiniest little margin of health at the end there. Tons and tons of fun. Lots of other party games got played. It was definitely just sort of sit around, drink, and play party games style affair. Went through at least 3 very large handles of Jack Daniels over the 3 days. Not a Jack Daniels fan myself, but they all sure were. Also, Ant, I got some Bell's Two Hearted as well.
Oh, yeah. Do you have one right now?
It's back at home, but yeah. So, my first introduction to Ascension, which is clearly my favorite style of deck builder.
Yes, it is. Was it the actual game?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like the tin like metal edition or something.
Like year 1 or year 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the cards were like super foil, and it was hard to read because they were all so shiny. You couldn't actually read the cards. But Ascension is a little different. There's like creatures and stuff that you're like defeating, but I can understand why that game is why I like deck builders. Yeah. Played a 6-player game of that. It was very long.
Yes, that's.
But
you should try the app. It'll take like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But also just do 1v1 because then you just play more by your like you just like
yeah.
It really becomes. Let's see the best engine I can make with this, and sort of ignore the other person.
Yes. Which might be why I like Star Realms or Hero Realms or something like that, because there's more interactivity in there. But yeah, Ascension's super cool. Some euchre was played because this was in the Midwest, and people know what that was.
Yeah.
And then
did you learn it, or do you know how to play it, or
a little bit?
Okay.
Yeah, but then I mainly watched other people play, and then they were like, "Well, what house rules are you using? Is it this or that?" And I was like, "I don't know what the fuck you people are talking about."
Did any udders get milked?
Someone euchred someone, and someone went by themselves.
Okay, that's not what that's not what I'm referring to.
I don't know.
Almost no one knows about that.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't know about that until I met Mal and Mallory.
It might just be the thing that.
Yeah.
Basically, when they hit 9, they get 9 points. They say they're in the barn, and then they do this.
Okay.
And then the other person.
So what he's doing is he's interlinking his fingers,
and then the other person is milking.
And then you turn your hands upside down, so your thumbs are hanging down like 2 udders, and the other person milks
your thumbs.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very awkward.
What I really like to do when I'm playing that with Mallory and Alan is that when I'm on the opposite team, and then like we start to do that. So say Jeff, you started doing that, I would also bring out udders, and then we would just have the udders touch each other.
Euchre's a weird game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just sort of hung around and drank a lot of stuff. And everyone brought beer from their various homesteads. Some Canadian beer had a lot of Chicago-y beer, some New Glarus from Wisconsin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What epic beers did you bring?
I brought one of all the Baptists, some sour peach, sour pineapple. I think that was it.
So hashtag you're welcome.
Yes.
You only brought the beers that I make?
Yeah, exactly. I did inform everyone. It's like, yeah, my good friend Ant made all of these, even before I worked at Epic.
Which we, as an Epic vote, win this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it was already...
It's 3-1 on Epic to non-Epic.
That's true. We are mostly Epic employees here.
Wonder if we could get Epic to sponsor the podcast.
Nope.
We talked enough about Epic beer.
No, I guarantee. We'll not sponsor you.
I'll just come up with a really good pitch.
No.
We sponsor you through the alcohol that you're currently drinking, which you clearly did not pay for.
Also true.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of all that. I think we've talked about what we've played and what we've been up to. So it's time to move on to more concrete things. I don't know. More solid, less rambly things. How about that?
That's not going to happen, but
potentially more solid and less rambly things. There's the potential for it.
Well, he's going into Blood in the Minute next.
Oh, yeah, I did almost. Yeah.
I was like, are you just going to go to news? Because that's not what's about to happen.
No, yes, because Ant is actually on the show for this episode. There will be a Bloody Minute since Jeff did not play Blood Bowl, but Ant did.
It's because I fucked Jeff out of the playoffs.
Yes,
Boom.
you did. Since we last recorded, you're now like a global admin for the NAF?
Just for the OBBLM.
OBBLM, okay.
So
The website.
I'm just a support character for leagues across the world.
Okay.
But the NAF supports, they try to make Blood Bowl a accessible sport to all players. And the NAF hosts and pays for a free league hosting website. And I am now just an admin because there was no ability to find anyone to actually help you edit your own OBBLM.
Okay.
So I am now able to help people edit their leagues.
Basically helping people create leagues all across the world?
Yes, all across the world. For
Okay.
Sure. There's, I think, 140 leagues.
Wow.
It's a good bit.
Yeah.
But the problem was, like, you can't delete any messed up tournaments or messed up things because in order to delete things, it could potentially corrupt data. So they don't want people just willy-nilly deleting things.
Okay.
And the fact that there was no support to help you delete those was kind of redundant and frustrating. And I just applied, and now I'm a global admin. So I'm one of two. The other guy is not the one to come talk to.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so Blood Bowl, I played Blood Bowl. It's pretty nice.
Okay. We're in the championship of season 6 currently.
We are in the semifinal round now. So before that, even I played the Barrel Bowl, which I crushed everyone on.
That's right.
With my most hated of teams.
Yes.
I absolutely hate the vampires.
The vampires.
It's just so depressing when you play a stunning league. You can have dumb guys that roll a 1 and then mess up their turn, and you're like, oh, it's okay, they're dumb. You expect that. You play vampires and they roll a 1 and they mess up their turn, but they're really good players, and it's just so demoralizing for that to happen.
Yeah.
I hate them so much, but you get a special prize if you play all 24 races in official NAF tournaments. So I'm going from bottom to top. And of course, I played those and just happened to crush everybody, which worked out well.
Yeah. It went really well. You had, 25% more points than second place?
I was the only undefeated coach that weekend.
Yeah, with vampires.
Yeah, I mean, they're good when they work. The only problem is, like, when they don't work, they're real not good.
They're real bad, yeah.
And I played hyper aggressive, and I didn't have enough time to mess up.
Okay.
So I overcommitted on everything and didn't do a lot of actions.
Okay.
I mean, I blocked probably 10 times a game.
All right, that's not very much.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I didn't do a lot of actions. I just super hyper committed to everything.
Yeah. And you're number what in the nation now is vampire coach?
Number 6, because nobody plays vampires. I think I might be the only undefeated vampire coach.
Yeah.
It sounds like if you just do one more tournament with them, you'll just go straight to number 1.
No, because the number 1 guy has like 60 tournaments or 60 tournament games as vampire. I was like, sorry, let's just leave this guy right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I played the quarterfinal match for our Kill League, and that was against Aaron, who has a Season 1 Chaos team, against my Season 2 Undead team. And my Undead team is very...
Were you able to get to 5 skills on the mummy before this game?
4 skills.
4 skills on the mummy.
So they were both available to level up, and I leveled one of them up.
Wow.
So now he has 4 skills, and the other one has 3, and no doubles on either.
Okay.
So I'm statistically not doing great on those guys.
No.
But they do really well by themselves. They just would do even better with a doubles.
That's true.
So our game, he was actually the same team value as me. I was 10K above him, so I dropped a couple. I had a cheerleader and a coach just to burn some money, because why not? And he was 10K above me, so I just fired both of them and then spent 50K on a babe, so he couldn't get an inducement. So that means I had an inducement on him, and he couldn't get anything on me unless he did something similar. And it was a super boring, just kind of like punch and nothing happened kind of game.
Yeah, his Chaos Warriors gave him all block first, so they didn't really have any smash power.
Yeah, so almost everyone had a skill, but they only had block, which isn't very exciting. And I have 4 very well skilled up guys and a whole bunch of Zombo chew toys.
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah. So our game was basically the same as.
And his Minotaur was missed next game, right?
Yeah, he lost his Minotaur, which is big for me.
Yeah.
If he had his Minotaur in, I think I would have had a lot more of a problem.
You probably would have gotten inducements.
I definitely would have gotten inducements, and then I would have got Setek. I would have dropped some stuff and got Setek, which is really good. But our game was really similar to Jeff and I's game, where you think that 20 people are going to die during the game, and you just keep punching each other, and they fall over, and nothing happens. And cool. You go to get the ball, you drop it. You go to move the ball, and he gets stuck and grind. And we spent the whole first half not doing anything, and I actually made 2 regen rolls.
Wow, your regen streak continues.
No, I succeeded.
I know,
but
you succeeded in our game too.
Yeah, against yours. So there were 2 zombies. So
whatever. Yeah, your regens against me were like critical players.
Yeah. And then he knocked out my star white on the second half, and I failed that regen. So now my star white the edge bonus star white that would be super important for me to play against elves, which is my next game, is now missed next game. So I have to play next game super conservative, and I need to basically drag him into the cage and bash.
Yeah.
I might play for the tie to go to overtime, but
try and outlast the elves.
Yeah, because I think I can kill the crap out of these guys.
Just hope you can roll.
But yeah, so it was basically first half was super boring, nothing happened. Second half, I pressed it. I scored on turn 4, turn 5 on a pretty successful push. Like I stalled the first half with 0-0 going into the second half, kicked to me, and I went a little aggressive on it, pushed him out, and then I got all over the end zone, and he had one guy there, and I was going to crowd surf him, but I got a skull and a bolt down with my wrestle, and I didn't want to reroll that. I didn't want to risk it. So I wrestled him down, but he had 2 guys that could have possibly made it. So I scored, kicked to him. He managed to get the ball back, but then ended up not able to actually get all the way across. He pressed the ball pretty hard in my defense. I screened up. I did some break tackle mummies. I put tackle zones on the ball. I put tackle zones on the...
They're a 1+ dodge on those break tackle mummies?
They're 1+ dodge, yeah. They're normally a 6+, and then I gave him a skill, so it's a 1+.
Yep.
But they can only do it once. So really good positioning. I surrounded him, made him press his luck. He went for the 1 dodge he needed. It was a 3+, 2 reroll 1.
All
so
right.
it was turn 8. He had really ran out of options. There was a lot of ball bouncing, and he went for the dodge and was going to go for a pass and failed the dodge. And then we were like, game over. We rolled everything, rolled winnings. I was like, all right, now that all the pieces are off the board, roll everything else. And he was like 5, 4, 5, 5, 6.
Crushed it.
I was like, all right, cool. You fucked up the one thing I needed you to fuck up.
Yep.
Thanks for the game.
Yep. Fair enough.
So now I play, next game is quarterfinals or semifinals against a Wood Elf team, and the Skavens will play the Necro, and the winner of my game will play the winner of Skaven versus Necro.
The Lego losses?
I play the Lego losses, which is Thursby, and
okay.
It's got a good team.
Jeez.
It's basically going to be, can I outbash him or not?
Plus strength catcher, plus strength thrower, plus edge thrower.
So it depends on if he can get the ball away from my guys before I punch him to death. 2
Blodge blitzers, Blodge catcher. Gotta watch out for that Nerves of Steel.
And I only have 4 really good guys, so one of them's out.
Yeah.
Very, very top-heavy team.
Yeah. We'll see next time.
Right on. I think that means it's time for us to move on to some news and Kickstarters.
First up in news, the wide world of online sales will be changing dramatically in some states.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the case of South Dakota versus Wayfair, the Supreme Court found in favor of South Dakota, essentially saying that states could reasonably charge online distributors taxes, state taxes on sales. So previously it had been kind of that as long as you didn't have a physical location in the state, they couldn't, which is why for a long time here in Denver, Amazon didn't charge sales tax to us. And then they built a huge distribution facility. And since they actually had a physical location, the state made them start charging sales tax on all their transactions. With this decision coming down states are now going to be able to write laws and things that charge online distributors or force online distributors to charge sales tax to the consumers. So your cool stuffs, your miniature markets, your game surpluses, they might have to start paying sales tax depending on how your state approaches that.
Yep.
Because
I think Illinois didn't have online sales tax for a really long time.
Yeah, and some states I think still don't. And there's all kinds of different weird things where some states charge sales tax on certain things but not other things, and some of them might limit it based on amount of sales or something like that. So it's hard to say how your state will be affected, if at all, but there is now for sure the potential.
Yeah.
So something to keep in mind.
So be prepared to start paying sales tax on all of those online board game orders.
Yes.
Sooner or later, when someone gets around to writing a law.
And then if it passes and all of that.
Next up in news, Zman is announcing Mesoozic, a new sort of dinosaur-y theme park game?
Yes.
Kind of?
Yes. It definitely is. So you are the director planning a dinosaur zoo. And it's kind of a drafting game with kind of a neat little spatial puzzle. They're like the old tile sliding games where you have one open spot and you slide things around to make it, complete the puzzle picture or whatever. And so in this one, you slide cards around as you add them to the tableau to actually complete attractions, because some of them are like split onto 2 cards. And so you have to...
Or complete a monorail track.
Yeah, complete tracks, things like that. And then place like what looks like little visitors and attraction cards. So yeah, it's very cartoony art style. So it's not going to be any kind of like Dinosaur Island or Dinogenics or anything like that where, it's
Anatomy Park.
Yeah, it's not a Jurassic Park style dinosaur zoo. It's a
completely original dinosaur zoo idea.
Yes.
Yes.
And they do mention that in the coming weeks, they'll be talking about some advanced cards that are in the game that have their exciting effects and things. So, maybe there is a possibility for some of them to be a little bit more chaotic and Jurassic Park-esque, but not currently. More information on that to come. It's available for pre-order right now.
Next up in news, the Gen Con preview is out on Board Game Geek.
Yep. So every year, BGG does these for like Essen and Gen Con about all the games that are going to be being released.
Or people that
demoed,
or people that want you to know that they will be there.
Yes. And what games they'll have with them. So you can start going through and planning out your Gen Con trip.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be attending Gen Con, so I won't spend a lot of time on this like I did last year. But you can go through and see all kinds of crazy stuff. Like the expansion for Whistle Stop will be there. Werewolf Legacy.
Is that the Rocky Mountain one?
Yes.
Okay.
1 week Ultimate Werewolf will be there. 1 night Ultimate Supervillain. A whole bunch of different 1 night stuff from Bezier, and it's all broken down by publisher and everything like that. So you'll have plenty of options. New smash up things coming from Alderock or AEG, as it's more commonly known. Bunch of stuff to go look through and start planning your Gen Con trip. Since 3 of the 4 of us here in this room will be going to Gen Con.
Indeed.
Probably, yeah.
Well, certainly 2 of the 4.
Yes.
Probably 3 of the 4.
Network's expansion.
Iffy?
Huh?
You're iffy?
All right, now, yeah.
Come on.
We need to find 3 other people for that room.
Yeah.
Well,
two other people, I think.
Unless you put Eric? Mike? What's his name?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You have nobody for that room?
Who's sleeping on the floor? Mike.
Oh, I
And Cozy.
haven't talked to Mike.
Or in his car, I mean.
He's
Or
he's driving and then just sleeping in his car.
Mike and Cossey. He was actually at the game day Sunday. I talked to him a little bit.
Forbidden Sky is going to be for sale.
What's the new Top Deck game?
The Top Deck is not on here. They have not.
It's called Top Deck, right?
Upper Deck?
Upper Deck.
Yeah.
I feel like I say that all the time, and I feel like I'm wrong because that's pooping on a toilet.
Oh,
you're not wrong. That is entertainment.
Terraforming Mars Prelude's going to be there, but Upper Deck has not listed their stuff on here.
Yeah,
yet, so.
And some of them take a while. Like Fantasy Flight they don't list their stuff until like a week or two before, and they
Mhm.
still have stuff that they own. Like they just
Like surprise.
So
Yeah, Fantasy Flight's not anywhere on this list
Yeah.
currently yet either.
Oh, they might have that Runebound card game there.
Meh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so you can start planning your Gen Con trip. So
All the things you want to demo and play.
indeed.
And that's it for news.
Kind of a low news week.
Yeah, that's fine.
Indeed.
But that means we move on to the wide world of Kickstarters. And first up on Kickstarters is Raccoon Tycoon. Well-funded, $50,000 of its $25,000 goal, 822 backers, and just about 2 weeks left on this one, which you can get for $49.
Yeah, so Raccoon Tycoon plays 2 to 5 players. It takes about 90 minutes, and it is kind of a silly themed resource train game.
Imagine a train game, but everyone is cute, fluffy animals.
Yeah. It's also got commodities, like you're trading different resources, and so they've got little stock markets that change based on the resources. And then, like I said, you build up your railroad and connect towns and move goods around, and ultimately try to be the fuzzy little animal with the most money.
Should be able to say, like, this might be a train game that has actual components.
Indeed.
well, I mean, to an extent, but also they're what are the cubes called again?
The commodities tokens.
Commodities.
It's definitely spared no expense on on the
'Cause
different colored wooden cubes.
Yeah, because I don't know about you guys, but when I think of luxury, I think of a green
cube.
cube. Yes.
Yeah. Condensed money.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the $60,000 stretch goal is for the commodities to be 3D special wooden commodities.
Okay.
Yeah, the cube.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's already a 3D.
2D wood components?
That would be amazing.
Be like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, now I'm
They're
interested.
called cardboard chits.
That's still 3D.
It's still technically 3 dimensions.
Jesus.
I was down for this game when I saw the raccoons, and I was like, that looks pretty cool. And then I saw the puppies, and I'm like, I'm out.
You were out at puppies. Wow.
Not a fan of Top Dog Railroad. What about Fat Cat?
Where are even... I must have scrolled right past puppies.
I mean, the dogs.
They're just dogs.
Oh.
If they were all raccoons, I think I would have bought that.
Just like all of them are just different raccoons.
Yeah, it looks like there's like 2 of each animal.
Yes. But it seems like they are different.
The fucking stretch goal is Trash Panda, where you just jump on anyone's train.
Nice.
But yeah, this looks kind of cool. You know, I'm always looking for... I really like train game type games. And this looks like it has a fun little theme that'll make it fairly approachable and doesn't seem all that complex. So it might be a good, intro, a gateway, if you will, to get people into train and commodity type games. So
Indeed. So that's Raccoon Tycoon.
indeed.
Next up on Kickstarter is Billionaire Sergeant Last Straw. Just funded $10,800 of its $7,600 goal, just under 300 backers, and about 3 weeks left to go on this one, which you can pledge for $34.
Yeah, so
And
this...
And it's game straight from Hong Kong, designed
Yes.
in Hong Kong.
Yes. And so in this game, everybody plays as different royal police officers in Hong Kong in like the 70s. Yeah, the 60s and 70s. And essentially, some of you are corrupt. So it's kind of a social deduction game where you're trying to figure out who the corrupt officers are if you're not corrupt. And if you are corrupt, you're trying to get the other officers to be corrupt. But you still have to actually solve cases. And they go a little bit over the mechanics in that. They're a little bit hard to explain. Like their page actually does a better job of showing with like little animated GIFs of how the rounds work. But essentially, you're going to be passing cards around and evidence and different roles as you work the case. And then ultimately, you send the case before a judge. And so the corrupt officers are trying to make sure the judge dismisses the case, whereas the good officers are trying to actually prosecute. And the kind of cool thing is the 5 main cases that they have in the game are all based off of, 10 main cases are all based off of actual significant things that happened in Hong Kong in the 60s and 70s. And part of the description of this Kickstarter, they say that they're doing this to kind of keep memory of those events alive because there's been significant push in Hong Kong to suppress that those were actually things that happened, which happens a lot all over the world. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I kind of dig the art style. It's not super finalized. A lot of the cards, they still have like multiple options that backers will get a vote on at the end of the campaign. But yeah, it looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, detective-y type game set in Hong Kong in the 60s and 70s. One thing we should note, real big plastered at the end here, free shipping worldwide with an asterisk.
Yes. And that asterisk is that the worldwide is the US, EU, UK, Canada, Australia, Hong Kong, and Taiwan.
Yep.
That's it.
Yes.
So
Important wide.
I mean, I guess they are like those are all around the world, so it does go like, worldwide, but not everywhere worldwide.
Yeah. For some of those places, having free shipping for those options is pretty nice.
Yeah, I bet the Australians are pretty stoked about free shipping.
Super stoked.
Yeah, that is Billionaire Sergeant. Go check it out.
Next up on Kickstarter is The Hunters AD 2114. This one is very well funded. $117,000 of its $56,000 goal, 1,100 backers, and just about 3 weeks to pledge this one for $100.
So is this our $100 mini game of the
Indeed, because it actually reaches that point of $100.
It's not 99.
No.
Not 99.99.
No. Yeah, so Hunters 2114 is a 1 to 4 player game that takes place in this alternate, well, I guess maybe not alternate, maybe this is what the future will be like.
This will be science fact.
Yes. But
in 2111,
Yeah.
an asteroid hits the Earth, and then everyone comes back in 3 years, except all the robots want to kill you now.
I mean, that tracks, yeah.
yeah, so maybe that will actually happen.
There's a robot gorilla.
All right. Maybe the asteroid will hit in 2110. Like I'll give it a little bit of breathing
plus or
room.
minus.
Yeah,
Plus
plus
or
or minus
minus,
a couple
yeah.
years.
No,
Okay.
just minus.
just minus 1 year. Okay.
Yeah, it's 2112. I'm fucked.
But anyway, in this game, it's a fully cooperative campaign style game. And so you take on the role of these different machine hunters, and you are moving about this world trying to take out these big machines that are killing humans. And so you play it over a course of missions. Each mission takes 30 to 60 minutes, and they have over 200 story cards that make up these missions. So there's supposedly a whole bunch of replayability as you play through this campaign. And the cards will determine like whether it's during the day or the night, what the weather is, and things like that, which will then determine what kind of tactics and equipment you want to send out with your players. And then you play out across, this big terrain,
Tile-based.
tile-based terrain with the squares like in, Zombicide or Imperial Assault or
Yep.
a lot of those different
Square-based.
games. Yep. And you have a whole bunch of minis that come with it. So they've got
It's not like overloaded with minis, though.
No.
48 minis,
Yeah.
which is a solid amount.
But some of they have some 3D models of them already, but others of just art. And I like
not just 3D models, like
Yeah.
fully printed models.
well, okay,
are
some
on there.
fully printed and
Yeah.
3D models for some, and then just drawings of others.
Yes.
And I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I like
Yeah.
the cyborg gorilla.
But even the prototypes look super well
Yes.
detailed. But a lot of the other miniatures, it's like robot rats, robot jaguars, or something.
Yeah.
If we see a robot dinosaur, then we know that this takes place in the Horizon Zero Dawn universe.
That must be
Correct.
it. Yes.
It's the only way that can work.
Yeah.
That's probably a cease and desist about to happen.
Yeah.
Um,
They're like, we can only do mammals. We can't do anything else but that.
Yes.
So as a picky mini guy, I don't feel like they're very well detailed. But
Yeah.
at the first thing I saw when you put up that page, I was like, oh my God, I might buy this. And then you scroll through the minis, and I'm not super sold on them. But I feel like it's a good price for the number of minis. I mean, I bought other games that I knew I was going to hate the game just because the minis were pretty good. But they're not, I don't feel like they're that great.
They're better than a lot that I've seen.
Some of the ones that we've talked about that are $100 mini ones, this is definitely better
yeah.
than some of those.
And I like that this one actually does already have some of them printed.
Yes.
Like, so you can actually
Yes.
see what the final sculpt looks like, which I think is pretty good.
The mech,
The mech is my least favorite of them so far.
it's garbage.
It's all right.
The actual like hero looking minis look pretty good.
Mech's not great.
But I feel like they're going to be Imperial Salt quality, kind of like quick mass produced minis.
Gotcha.
Kind of bendy.
Yeah, out of
Hard to say.
No rule book available yet in English.
Yeah, they do have a little gameplay overview though that kind of explains how it plays out and shows some of the mechanics. Like there's a little bit of a base building mechanic where you have a base where you can upgrade different rooms in it. There's a lab, gunsmith, forge, workshop, and an armorer, and there's different levels of those so that you can upgrade them to give you better and better gear. And then in between missions, you can spend experience points to upgrade. One of the things I really like they show here is like you'll have like they show a rifle card, and it's got on one half of it like 2 little downward triangles, and on the other half like 1 downward triangle. And then they show add-ons for that gun, like the bayonet, which has slots for the 2 downward triangles to fit on one half, and then a clip, an additional clip that has just the one. It says additional clip. I agreed. It should be a magazine. It says additional clip.
I've yelled at enough people in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Got an extra clip. No, you have an extra magazine.
Yeah. And it only has the 1 notch, so it fits on the other half. So you can put both the bayonet and the additional clip onto your rifle and be good to go. I'm just reading what they say, Jeff. I'm sorry. I know it kills me too, but shaking your head isn't going to change anything. But I think that's kind of cool. The different customizable weapons like that. Yeah.
They only have 1 add-on. So just a $6 for an additional character. So nothing insane, like not, $300 in add-ons on top of the Kickstarter pledge. No crazy expansions or anything like that. It's just a game-ass game.
Yeah. And that add-on even then is like a special crossover from a different game called Waste Knights that I'm not familiar with.
Gotcha.
But it's the stalker character from Waste Knights.
Okay.
Yeah. Which apparently the 2nd edition of that is coming in 2018. So maybe we'll talk about Waste Knights when 2nd edition drops. Who knows? Yeah. That's the Hunters AD 2114 if you are interested in it.
Yeah, that mech. When I saw the actual mech production thing, that did
not
look
good
good
for me.
Next up on Kickstarters is Overturn Rising Sands. Very well funded, $270,000 of its $33,000 goal, over 2,000 backers, and about 3 weeks left to go on this one, which you can get for $88 or a boatload more if you want to add more stuff into this game.
So speaking of the mini game where you can get a shitload
yeah,
of add-ons.
If you want miniatures, this is the one.
Yeah, I think you can. I think I was doing a rough total in my head, and I'm pretty sure it's over 400 if you get everything. They do have a pledge for 134 also, which includes a bunch more stuff than the 88, but it's still not quite everything.
Downside, everything in this looks to be all 3D models and no prototype printed ones yet.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the people don't look great.
Yeah,
a lot of flowing robes and stuff, which if you don't put detail in that can just make it look sort of basic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all based off of like Middle Eastern mythology and folklore.
Scorpion Kings.
Yeah.
Oh shit, is The Rock in this?
Incorrect. But it is they call it a tactical combat board game with co-op elements. And so essentially you'll use multiple boards to again build a map to do each scenario. And the scenario ultimately ends when you defeat the boss, and then you're going to defeat a bunch of bosses until you get to the big bad final boss and win the game. Which can all be kind of done on its own, but then each of the different board or missions, you can, when you're all playing together, you can kind of ally and work together, or you can fight against each other. And people might have their own like story specific goals depending on which campaign you're doing or which scenario you're doing at the time.
There's a very large dragon miniature.
Yes.
Looks good.
Yeah, and there's actually a bunch of terrain miniatures and stuff that it comes with.
Yeah, the terrain
buildings and huts and things.
Some of the gameplay examples, the terrain examples, with all the actual buildings and stuff out on the map look pretty good.
Yeah, I think it looks kind of cool on the table. I actually think a lot of the minis look really sweet. But they're done in a way that I like, assuming that the actual minis come out and look anything like these digital renderings they have. It's hard to say. Sometimes they don't come out quite that well. They do have a venomous Akrab, Aqrab. Don't know actually how to say that name, but it definitely looks like something you'd easily see in the Scorpion King. Giant scorpion beast with 2 stinger tails and a big spear.
They do have some actual printed examples lower on in the campaign. It looks like all the terrain and stuff looks very papercraft, kind of print and play currently, but I'm sure all those will be different in the end.
Yeah. So I think the metal coins look pretty cool too. They're unique.
They say coins or tokens.
They say metal coins. 60 metal dark. The marble dice look pretty sweet too, but that's a $18 add-on for the marble dice.
Well, even the metal coins are $25.
True. They're also in the that 134 pledge that comes with both the marbled dies and the metal coins.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah. So if you want a miniature Kickstarter you can spend some money on.
Indeed.
Go for it.
That's Overturn. I keep saying Overture. I don't know why. I keep feeling like it should be Overture.
Yeah.
Overturn Rising Sands. So.
And that's it for Kickstarter.
Indeed. That is all for Kickstarter.
Can I add that I have news that Root and Hero Crossing are both on freight ships right now. So they're both coming in, and I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. I got a C Root at Origins, but I didn't get a chance to actually play it. I was a little bummed because I do really want to try Root. I've heard really good things.
I'm pretty pumped.
The most pumped. Root looks really good.
I mean, I spent money on a dice game.
Is it a 50-50 dice game?
No, it doesn't matter. It's a dice game. I hate playing dice games.
It's true.
Except for Blood Bowl.
It's not a dice game. Risk mitigation game,
I
I
was
was
sir.
about to say a mitigation
I'm
game.
doing Paul's Chicago face.
All Chicago faces.
More neck going back.
Yeah.
More straight back.
Yeah. So that wraps up news and Kickstarter. We do have an email.
Indeed. Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email. First up in emails is Steven, titled The Most Podcast. Hi guys, since you all tout the Mile High Game Guys as having the most podcast, I have a new catchphrase for you. Quantity has a quality all its own. The quote has been attributed to various people, including Napoleon Bonaparte, Joseph Stalin, and Karl von Clausewitz, among others. According to the font of all knowledge, i.e. Google, it's doubtful that any of these guys actually said it. Still, whatever its provenance, I think is what that word, provenance? No.
Provenance.
Prevalence.
Yeah.
It's definitely Provenance.
Well, I can't see the
Provenance.
emails.
I
so
know
I'm
you can't
guessing.
see the email, but it's Provenance.
Provenance. It's been around a long time. It sounds good, and it seems apt here. So there you go. Take it or leave it. Cheers, Steve.
Yeah, that's going to be our new like sub motto. Quantity has a quality all its own.
Yes.
Which is just us. Our quality is just it's our own quality. Nobody else has it. It might not be great quality, but it's a quality. So, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. Next up on emails, it's from Ant. Ant sends in, how do you play Hanabi?
You didn't know.
How do you play Hanabi?
Yeah.
I guess is.
So this is my lazy way of saying that I've been meaning to send you an email for the last like 5 weeks because you guys had that Hanabi review.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I do like that Google gives me a chance to do a quick reply, and it's all in Japanese.
So you guys did the review, and I've been wanting to send you an email about it because you guys talked a lot about the way that I play.
Yes.
And people criticized the like kind of gameplay of it. Not really criticized, but like debated on what is like how you should play or like
Right.
how I play specifically. But I play a very specific way. And I feel like Adrian knows my way very well. So I would kind of like this to be like double checking to make sure.
Yes.
But so
Because you two have definitely played the most.
we played
Yeah.
a fuck ton.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say the way that I played for people, because you guys the way you said it is very specific. So the way that I play is there are no additional cues, no verbal cues, no extra motioning.
No.
Yeah, there's no sighing. Anytime you sigh, it's a wash. Anytime that you, for example, if someone gave me a clue that said I had a 2, oh wait, you have 2 2s, I would take those cards, I would shuffle them up, and then I would put them back in my hand.
yeah, so that way you don't
know which one was
they
the
were
one.
actually the one that they wanted to give you a clue
Right.
about.
And if I knew something about the other card, then I would, I would lose that fact because it's gone.
Yeah.
And I feel hand management on your own hand is something that's your own thing. Saying, like, give me a clue on this or I'm going to get rid of it is too much.
Uh-huh.
And, we play very specifically and we play very direct, but we don't play in the sense that it's a given game based on the clues you give. it's the clues that you don't give that's more important. And also, the thing that I play slightly differently than a lot of people is we play with all 6 suits.
Yes. But the wild is its own suit.
It's its own suit. We play very non-verbal cues, and also we play more than 30. So that's the additional like complicated part of it is when you draw the last card, that's the last person to go. So everyone gets an additional turn, and then that person gets to go again. Any clues that are, or any cards that are not flipped over are additional points. So that way you can get more than 30.
Yeah, if you actually get all of them full before you run out of the deck, you count each card left in the deck as an additional point.
But when I play, so it's, to me, it's card counting is very supportive. Like I love card counting. So every time I play a card, it's a probability thing. And like we'll be playing and I'll just like kind of stare off in the air and then randomly play a card. And he's like, why the hell did you play that? I was like, 70-30. I think that we had this, and you give me a clue and I'll remember that clue. So you say that I have 3 ones and I have 2 cards on the other side, and I'll remember that they're not ones the entire time.
Yeah.
So it's a very different game than a lot of people play, which is why like when we play serious, I'll rag on people. I'm like, well, your clue is inefficient because of this. But like I'm totally fine with playing people that don't know that game at all and bombing that game, and I'm not going to rag on them because they don't know how to play. But when somebody tries to play that game and we're trying to do well, and I feel like they're competent enough to, not Jeff, competent enough to,
I think Jeff would agree with that.
Correct.
Manage a more advanced style. Like Adrian and I play, and we don't really, it's not like we bicker at each other. We just, it's first hand is a wash. Fuck it. New game.
Oh, yeah. And we've definitely thrown away hands early on. Like, if we're not going to have a reasonable chance of doing probably over 20, like if we burn something way too early or something, then it's like, well, I'm not going to play a losing game. Like, we'll start over. One of my favorite things playing with Ant is like, we'll finish a hand, like we'll get all the way done and finish with that game of it, which we play basically like that's a hand, and then we shuffle up and do it again. Is talking over like, well, when I gave you this clue, here's what you did. Like, so how did you interpret my clue? Like how, and that helps like when you play later games is like understanding how they're interpreting your clues and things like that, which, some people feel like is putting too much communication and metaing it, and like, then that's ruining it. But like, it's definitely not a solved game. It's not like Ant gives me a clue and something about his clue tells me exactly what that card is, unless it's something I can actually unless he tells me exactly that this is he does this as a 5.
Yeah, well,
and he previously told me it was a yellow. Well, then yes, I know it's exactly a yellow 5.
Yeah, well, it's not like he's grabbing the yellow and this is yellow, but he has 3 fingers in front of it signifying.
Yeah, there's no code.
E3.
There's no
the metagame for
words.
us is not a interpret my clue so that you understand it. It's like kind of understanding the probability of everything. So it's not like the way that I'm telling him makes him specifically think of something, because that's how we discussed it beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have a strategy to move our cards throughout our hand, but it's not that we have a strategy on the sense that like if I tell you a clue, you should immediately know what it is because we discussed our strategy beforehand.
Yeah.
I mean, we still fuck up all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that we don't even get a perfect score. Like maybe 1 out of 30, 1 out of 40.
Yeah, I've almost never gotten it perfect, and I don't think I've even ever gotten above 30. Like, we've played with that variant. I don't think I've ever done it in any of my games with you. Maybe once or twice.
Yeah, maybe. Out of how many hundreds of games?
Yeah,
though?
exactly. It's very rare. We're not constantly winning, which is what keeps it fun. Like, we're constantly trying to do better.
So my only point for bringing that up is that people were talking about the metagame of it, and if you have too much strategy, like it's too predictable, like you're giving too much information. And I say the exact opposite. We have a lot of metagame because we refuse to give information, and like I won't, even if you accidentally give me information, I will intentionally discard that information, and if it was too much, we'll burn the game.
Yeah, and we're real strict. Like, if you start to give one clue, like, oh, you have these 3 are something, then you can't be like, wait, no, actually, I'm going to give you this other clue.
No, well, yeah,
like,
yeah, no, I would
like
agree
we're
with that
very
too.
strict. Like, and that's even a far example. But even if you get close to giving partial information at all, you stick with it.
Yeah.
Even when I give a clue in multiple cards, I point to all the cards at least twice before I say what the clue is. So this, and this, and then I go back and point the same cards again, and then I'll say the clue.
Yeah.
I remember one of the times I joined you on a 2-person that while I was drunk, and I was just like, I know this is just too. I have gone into the deep end that I did not even know.
I need to go back.
Yeah.
I want to go back.
And that's half the time we play is up at the condo or something like that. After we've been snowboarding all day and drinking all day, and we're still sitting there drinking and playing. So we're half drunk too.
Yeah. Well, I'd never played drunk Hanabi with Ant as a 2-player. That's where it was like that was the first. I was just like, oh, this is
something.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Right on. So that is all of the emails for this episode.
Indeed.
And yeah, we do we have any BGG
Emails.
Oh.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email.
Zach, were there any new BGG responses?
I think so.
18 or before?
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
after?
So, yeah, we do. Yeah. I was like, was it 18 or 21? And I looked at the date. And I was like, okay, yeah. So yes, we have one comment. This is from our episode 100
Okay.
last week, and it was just Patrick saying, "At a penny an episode, that's $1. You cheap bastards."
The cheapest quantity of content.
Yeah,
100% correct.
and that's about it.
Right on. We do have a new comment on YouTube from Paulo, who is at least of our. We are up to like 8 subscribers now. He's the only one that I actually know that is active or does anything.
Uh-huh.
I know one of them is David, who specifically subscribed to it, but would never listen to it on YouTube.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
to subscribe to it, to it.
But Paulo on the episode 100 says, "Many congrats for all your accolades. Most of you rock."
I feel like if you say most of you rock and you have to like try to decide 2/3 of the podcast, I'm pretty sure it's obvious which 2/3.
I think that considering how much shit Paulo has given me directly, it's very clear which most of the podcast rock.
11 subscribers.
Oh, we've
Jeez.
gotten several more.
Yeah.
We're at least 1% of the way to our Twitter followers.
We also have yet another new patron over on Patreon who left us a message over there.
Good job getting that right.
Yes.
Patron versus
Patron
Patreon.
on Patreon. Yes. This comes from Jason, and he says, "Hey, fellas, been considering backing some more people on Patreon for a while now, and you were at the top of my list. Met and chatted with Adrian for a little bit at the tail end of the Heavy Cardboard meetup, and despite that, still want to pledge. I kid, of course. Happy to help so that you can start putting out some videos, really looking forward to them. Since I like abuse from my games, I thought it only fitting to pledge for $1 so that I could receive a good helping of Jeff abuse. If that shit is really good, you might be able to push me to add a bonus amount in the future. However, you might not even know, as it is very tempting to just create multiple Patreon accounts all pledging $1 for maximum abuse. Keep being the most podcast. There truly is none higher in quantity."
Just want to say, Jason, I hope that bonus, how he did that, was a reference to Comedy Bang Bang, because they have a thing about that. So I'm just saying, I hope that's what that's in reference to.
But yes, so that's Jason. He did indeed pledge for $1, Jeff. So go nuts.
I don't like his onomatopoeia on the bonus. It's bonus.
Like I said, that's something they do in Comedy Bang on the Comedy Bang Bang best of.
So what you're saying is he can't come up with anything original.
That I mean, I guess that is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now we know that Jason is very unoriginal.
Fuck you, bud.
Ant's even joining in the abuse.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And, do you remember beating him at the
Meeting him? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I do. Especially once I pulled up his Patreon and saw his actual face. I was like, okay, yes, I did actually meet him.
So until you saw his face, you did not remember him.
Correct.
He's another
I'm
forgettable
I am
person.
terrible with names, and I was drinking that entire Heavy Cardboard meetup.
No.
Were you?
Me drinking? No, I know. It's a shock.
Are you sure you weren't drinking because you met Jason?
There you
No,
go.
because I met him at the end.
Yeah, there you go. Really rip into him.
I just sensed it coming. I was
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I'm going to meet this guy.
Yeah.
I just know it. I don't know who he is yet, but it's going to happen.
You were pre-gaming.
Pre-gaming for this fan meetup.
Yeah.
Fuck, this guy looks like a dollar pledge.
This is a $1 pledge if I've ever seen
Yeah.
one.
It's a real Jerry.
But no, seriously, Jason, thank you so much for the pledge. Thanks for the message. We appreciate that kind of stuff.
Yes,
around.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So that pretty much wraps everything up. We do still have our, episode 100 2-year-old giveaway going. The giveaway is not 2 years old. We're 2 years old. So you can enter that by either sending us a message over on Twitter where you include the 3 games that you would burn in your Viking funeral to take with you to Valhalla. Basically, what games do you like to have with you in the eternity of the afterlife?
To play with all of the
With
other
the heroes.
warriors.
Yeah, the other warriors of Valhalla.
Indeed. Those pink berserkers.
Exactly.
All over the place.
So many of them. You can also send us an email where you tell us what your favorite Mile High Game Guys moment is.
Yes.
And
not all of them. Don't say like, oh, all of them.
yeah,
No.
yeah, don't be cheap.
Yeah. Or I will delete it.
You can also jump over to Board Game Geek, where we have a thread up that has instructions for basically giving us a new tagline. And I'm going to stress, read what the tagline is.
Yes, follow. Actually, I
so
put in
many
bold.
of them.
I said I want you to answer a question, and I put I bolded what the question was. So answer the question.
Yes.
A lot of not answering the question going
Yeah.
on so far.
Yep. Which I don't know. Maybe those ones won't count. Can't follow instructions.
Yeah.
Could not follow instructions.
But yeah, there's a way that we were looking for it phrased.
Yeah.
And it's not happening that way.
Mhm.
Not at all. So
I mean, there's some.
There's some.
There's some. But yeah, the first I was like, I remember I made this at like 1. I did make it at 3:00 in the morning, and then when I woke up, I looked at some of these and I was like, let me edit. Fucking put this shit in bold.
But yeah, so you can still enter. We're going to be running that for a little over a week.
2 weeks.
A little over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Still at this point?
9th.
July 9th.
July 9th
Yeah,
at
so
Noon Mountain Standard Time.
That's
correct.
correct.
Yeah, so just 2 weeks, little under 2 weeks, like
Yes, from when you're hearing
mere
this.
hours from right now. But anyway, the contact information for all of those different places are our normal contact stuff, such as our email address, which is
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
you can also tweet us at MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
And I'm Jeff_MHGG.
Ant, you want to plug your Twitter?
It's barrel_overlord, and I don't really use it.
This is correct.
But have.
Just for GABF and Gen Con.
They're coming up, so that means that he'll be active.
Yes, this is true. Within 1 month of each other.
Yeah.
I think, right? No, is it end of September? Yeah. It's going to start getting bad.
You can also join our Board Game Geek Guild. It's guild number 2731. And over there is where you find that thread for the giveaway. And you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram /Mile High Game Guys. And we have our YouTube channel. So jump over to YouTube and search Mile High Game Guys and subscribe to that channel, where eventually, in the distant, foggy future, there will be actual videos and not just podcast episodes.
Blood Bowl podcasting. Dude, I'm totally 100% down for committing to some Blood Bowl videos here.
Yeah.
We could probably get some Blood Bowl videos up if you guys
I can just
smashing
feed you
faces.
Blood Bowl videos, and you can choose to put them on or not. And then when you don't put them on, I'm going to berate you, and then it's going to be fine. You're going to put them on anyway because they're free content.
Exactly. 100%. Ant really understands what's going on here.
Yeah.
Hashtag
As
nailed it.
much content as possible,
Mhm.
regardless of source.
Yep.
Or quality.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all the ways to get a hold of us. You can also check out the other awesome members of Punchboard Media over on punchboardmedia.com. And as always on these episodes, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Gray Fox Games, whose new 2-player battle game, Bushido, will be coming out soon. In this game, each player takes on the role of one of their warriors, and you train them, arm them, and then you fight. And it's using cards and dice to attack and fight until one of you is the winner. So yeah, that'll be coming out soon. So jump over to grayfoxgames.com to get your order in. Jeff, do you have a prepared statement?
I do. Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, conflict is in our blood. We can't deny it. I was born on the battlefield, and I'll die on the battlefield.
Very fitting statement for Bushido.
Indeed.
Yep. That wraps up the episode. Thanks everybody for listening. As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I'm still Zach.
And I'm Rebel Jeff.
And thanks for joining us on this one again, Ant.
I'm Ant, and I love Blood Bowl.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Which was quite entertaining. I'm looking forward to them getting that. Just broke my pen.
Fantastic work, Jeff.
It's getting low, anyways.
Just break it in half.
Yeah, just snap it in half right now.
That's what I thought he did at first.
Ink and all, just.
Oh God. At least most of the equipment in here is black. It just blend in.
Yeah.
Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.